Those were designed to surf and to throw tricks in waves that are like stagnant waves. Show of hands. Has anybody been to like Riverscape Metro Park? Alright, sweet. So the wave that's right there, these boats are meant to surf in those waves and throw tricks in those waves. Same with there's a wave just downstream there called Bartl. They're meant to do all sorts of fun stuff. And if you get bored of listening to me talk, I asked TJ to get in the water and be behind me and throw tricks as well. Like I recognize it gets boring when someone's just talking for a while. So throw whatever tricks TJ you want to back down, do whatever roles you want. But I'm going to go step by step, showing some interesting tricks and interesting things about freestyle kayaking. Which I should start out by saying, freestyle kayaking is such a niche sport that it doesn't make the cut for the Olympic sports. So there's only one type of kayaking in the Olympics, which is slalom racing. And freestyle kayaking only has a world championship. So it's kind of sad, but you're going to see why I think it's so cool, yet a lot of people don't. Can you guys still hear me, I think? All right. I don't want to lose your attention, so I'm going to show you one of the coolest tricks first. Normally I like to go, I'll show them this one's really cool, so I like to show it off with that. So, and if you came by my booth at Teach Less Kayaking, the coolest trick is the flat water loop or the front flip. So you can actually throw a flip in a kayak. And this is what it looks like. Wait, let me make sure the water's deep enough so I don't really forget this is really cool. This is what a flat water loop looks like. You can do that on the river. Like, if there's an artificial wave, you can do that same trick at Riverscape and throw a front flip at Riverscape into the wave, which is sweet. Actually, I need to go. I'm going to show you a couple other really cool ones first, and then I'll go back and show some of the less cool ones. Because these boats, although they're sealed tight with this racer I have on, eventually water gets its way into the boat. And once I get too much water in the boat, I can't throw the really badass cool tricks because there's too much water and it acts as a counterweight. And we never use our good equipment in the swimming pool. The swimming pool chlorine ruins the equipment. It ruins racers, it ruins boats. So we try to use our less good equipment in the swimming pool for that reason. So this skirt, although it's fine, it doesn't keep the water out quite as good as some of our equipment. So the next trick I'm going to show you. Alright, rules about kayak tricks. Whoever came up with it gets to name it. So this one is called a flatwater McNasty. The rumor is the person that named it went to McDonald's and while he was throwing tricks and playing in a kayak, he vomited, so that's why they called it the McNasty. I think that's why they called it that. It's basically, so you saw me do a loop a second ago. What I'm about to do is a 180-degree rotation into a front flip, which is, it won't get as much air, but it's way more technical to move and much more difficult to do than just a flat water loop. Just a front flip I showed you a second ago. So here's the McNasty, and also sometimes I fall on my face, so it's very possible I mess it up. So I like to put that disclaimer in. So you basically start backwards in the maneuver, taking a forward stroke, bringing you vertical, and then going straight into a front flip. Very difficult, very fun, super awesome, we love doing it. I'm going to show you one more. So that was a 180-degree rotation. This next one also has a silly name called fly smoky. Instead of 180-degree rotation, it's a 360 rotation into a front flip. Very difficult to do with flat water, but let's see what I can do. I did that one on 2 bounces, which is kind of cheating. Normally you're supposed to do it on 1 bounce, but it's still really cool to go on. The loops and the flips super fun, but before you do any of that, you have to start really basic and learn some of the basic stuff, like bow stall or stern stall. TJ, pick one, pick whichever one you want. Alright, so these boats, just like boats that are out in the ocean and things like that, they use the same terminology. So this is the bow of the boat, this is the stern of the boat. So when we say something's a stern stall, he's holding the boat on its stern while balancing. It's very difficult to do, super fun, but it's very difficult to do. Let's see, can you do it from? Yeah. So, stern stall is super fun. If you were in here earlier for the last demonstration, we did them in like longer boats and stood straight up, they're sick. The next one is just a bow stall. So instead of being on your stern, you can do it, you can hold it on the bow. This is what it looks like. And to get up into this position, I used a two-stroke maneuver called a double pump. The double pump looks like this. I take a forward stroke and a back stroke while putting my boat on edge. Not as complicated as it seems. And all of this is about balance and finding the right balance point. Once you find the right balance point, it comes quite easily. Okay, so the bow stall is like the first thing you're gonna learn, and just like a fluid in the ocean, you can't actually stay still. This is a secret. TJ, you're gonna get all my secrets in the next hour. You can't actually like try to hold it still. You have to let the boat bob up and down.
You have to flow with the water. So, what's it? There's another one. I'm just gonna yell at you. I already used the word.
I don't want to yell yet. Okay, cool. I turned it down a little bit. I think we're good. Okay. All right, so I was talking about the bow stall. The thing about it is really straightforward. You have to kind of flow with the water. You can't just hold it straight up. You have to let yourself bob and bounce up and down because the water is like that. If you try to stay really stiff, and this applies with all types of kayaking, it doesn't matter if you're in a wreck boat, if you get real stiff and lock up, you're probably gonna go upside down. Like, it's just a rule. No matter what, if you're like really stiff and locked in your ways, you're probably gonna hurt yourself because the water needs to flow and you need to stay loose and relaxed while you're in the boat. When you're really tense, it just ends up hurting you. So when you go into a bow stall, it's important to keep that mindset of like staying very loose and bouncing up and down. So in the double pump, you get vertical, and all you do to do a front flip is you just start bouncing and bouncing. I don't want to hit him. And once you've bounced a little bit, and you've got big bounces, you can turn it into a front flip. So super cool, super fun. Freestyle, it's awesome. The big tricks are always fun, but you gotta start much slower than the big tricks. So when you first start out, you won't learn that. You'll just learn how to surf in a wave, And then you might learn how to spin. Once you've learned how to spin, you might do something like a cartwheel, which is just putting your boats on edge. TJ, can you flat water cartwheel? Alright, show us a flat water cartwheel. Let's see what you got. Flat water cartwheels are like the next step up. After you learn how to front surf on it, on a wave, and then you learn how to spin a little bit, you can learn how to cartwheel or like how to get your boat on end. Nice. So what I've learned about a cartwheel, and this applies with a lot of that, you have to stay in front of the maneuver. So like your body rotation has to stay one step ahead of your boat. Your boat is constantly is like moving in slow motion, and you have to whip around constantly to stay ahead of that boat. So it does what you want, and you don't end up doing what the boat wants. So the cartwheel, we initiate it the same way with a double pump. But instead of holding the bow up, I'm gonna let my stern swing around. And I'm constantly, TJ, this one's for you, looking over my left shoulder as I do this. All right? Every so often, you see me go like this, and this, and this, as I do this. Right? And even when you screw up, your boat will have enough momentum to keep it going, as long as you do it correctly. So that's the flat water cartwheel. Nice. What do you say? Yeah, it's easy to get like one or two maneuvers, but to keep the rotation going is incredibly difficult. Really competition. Oh, by the way, there's some competition about how long you can hold a stern stall, and the record was only like 30 minutes, which I was like, that's ridiculous. Like a serious battle, like somebody made that just to start the trend, I think. But back to what I was talking about. When it comes to flavor, there's two types of boat types. There's the plastic ones like that, and then there's carbon fiber. If you're looking or interested in getting into paddling at all, you guys have like one of the best paddle shops in the world, which is crazy, called Whitewater Warehouse. It's in downtown Dayton. So if you want to get into paddling, you can go there and just check out what they have and go with the mindset like, okay, I'm not buying a boat today. I just want to go learn and see if this is something I'm interested in. And if you find the right boat for you, good. But if it's not a good fit, then you'll know. So they have all sorts of play boats, carbon fiber ones, they've got they've got plastic. I always recommend everyone should start with plastic boats because they're far more forgiving. If you break a carbon fiber boat, they're very expensive, but they are also very light. So that's the difference. Okay. Alright, so back to what I was talking about earlier with the flat water loop. Flat water loops are a lot of fun, but it's all about timing. So once you get the bow stall up, and you're holding it, I can basically throw a flat water loop from hardly any bounce because I've got the maneuver down. But to make it easy, you want to get a good bounce, and then throw your weight forward, and the secret is to throw your weight back at the last second. So I finish on the back deck. And if any of you were in the last talk I was giving, staying back on the back deck is incredibly dangerous. So it doesn't matter if you're in a wreck boat, it doesn't matter if you're in a whitewater boat. Being back here is incredibly dangerous regardless of what boat you're in. Because you're very exposed, and if you hit rocks when you're moving back, or just cabrewing or whatever, and a rock hits you, you're going to go upside down. When you're sitting upright in the boat, and you hit a rock, or you hit a tree or something like that, you have the ability to absorb the blow much better, and you have the ability to lean and use your edges. When you're back here, you can't do that as well. You can do it a little bit, but you can't do it very well. So, either being up here, either being vertical, having a vertical position, or leaning forward, also known as kissing the deck, is incredibly important when it comes to all types of paddling. And especially if you're scared. Like if you're running a rapid, or if you're running, let's say you're just paddling in Dayton, and you're running one of those spots, if you are scared, your first instinct is gonna be to go like this. You need to force yourself, mind over matter, and push yourself leaning forward so that you're in a good stance to go through the rapid. Lots of people get in the tendency to lean back, and you want to be up here. The other thing you want to do when you're going through any sort of river is you want to paddle through the river. Do not go through a rapid with your paddle up in the air like this. Because if I hit a rock and my paddle's way up here, it's not doing me any good. So consistently paddling through a rapid will greatly help you as you go through rapids. So it's just something to think about. Earlier, we talked about rolling. Before you can start kayaking, you have to learn how to roll because you're going to flip over like all the time. You're going to fall on your face all the time. And so it's incredibly important to get used to falling on your face all the time. And flipping over your paddle seems very stressful and scary and dangerous, but once you figure out how to do it, it's really not. It's nothing to be concerned about. So, with that, I'm not a good talker, so I'm going to turn to myself, and TJ and I are going to do a whole bunch of freestyle stuff. We're going to do flavor and food, things like that. Feel free to stick around and watch us for the next 20 or 30 minutes, and then but we're going to do all sorts. Everything you've seen us do already is what we're going to continue to do. This is the gist of all the kayaking moves that you can do in flat water. I showed you. So cartwheels, front flips, also known as loops. Nasties, phonics monkeys, bow stalls, stern stalls. Those are the things you can do in flat water. When you're on a wave or surfing on a hole, there's other maneuvers you can do that you just can't do in flat water. But those are the main ones that you can do in flat water. So we like to train in swimming pools in the wintertime in the off season, and it's what keeps us sharp. So with that, we're going to end the talking, and we're just going to play around and throw some tricks. And feel free to stick around, but if you also want to head out, I'm not going to hurt anyone's feelings. So thanks, guys.
Do back deck roll. Alright, this is Adventure Summit. I'm zoomed in. I'm about to get out of here. Later.